for this one. And no Pritchard and no Tame Tubo. They've been axed from game one. Dean Hallertau succumbing to injury. Nathan Feen comes onto the bench. David Fa'alongo to play his second test match. And from the Bradford Bulls, Shantaine Harper, part of the successful side at Allen Road 12 months ago. The coach, Brian McLennan.
Interesting to see what will happen on the right-hand side of the field with Harpe named on the wing, Soliola at centre. But Harpe plays a lot of centre in the UK. Nice to have him on board for this one. And in the forward pack, well, all the big guys. Mannering at lock, 37 tackles last week. A big effort from him. Brian McLennan leaves the shed. He'll have them pumped.
Well, in answer to that sign from one of the spectators here tonight, there is no Willie Mason, of course. He has succumbed to injury himself, headaches and all. As we have a look at the Kangaroos, Anthony Tupu comes in for his debut on the international stage. So too Sam Thaiday, the barnstorming Bronco, and Mark O'Malley to start this one, the Shrek, in the absence of Mason himself. The coach, Ricky Stewart.
And isn't it a shame that the game could be someone like Willie Mason, a spectacle? Certainly captured the imagination of a lot of people, the fallout of what we saw 7 days ago in Mount Smart. But tonight, Mark O'Malley steps up to the plate. But look to the guy, Luke O'Donnell. That is where the fireworks will come. He is one that's put his hand up quite clear. I will step up and I will lead the charge. The Kiwis, well, they know they need to square off tonight. They need to get back in the game. And the only way possible is to win it.
The Kiwis coming off 3 consecutive test defeats. Of course, in Brisbane, in the Anzac game, then the mid-season match at Knowsley Road against Great Britain, who enter the tournament, of course, next Saturday night at Jade in Christchurch, and of course, most recently, just 7 days ago at Mount Smart. The Crisco Kiwis, out they come. David Kidwell, departing Melbourne Storm player, who has certainly been in the thick of it during the week. The little general, so much experience with the number 7, and they are not short on support here tonight in Australia's sporting capital.
Well, the expatriate community here at the Kiwis down in Victoria, certainly not short on numbers, and they're all here tonight lending their support to the Kiwi side. They know Brian McLennan came out and said the fact that they can win against Australia is not an opinion, it is a statement of fact. That was shown when they played at Allen Road and won the Tri-Nations. They are still currently the holders of this championship.
A strange environment for so many people here, as well as the players. Most of these Kangaroos, of course, have been here because of origin. A different kettle of fish for the Kiwis. In fact, just 2 of their players have actually won at this venue.
We keep hearing of the physical contact of this test match with the battle with the Kiwis, but defensively the job at hand for the Kiwis is a big one. This is a fine Australian team with a huge backline and a free-flowing game. No Andrew Johns, but Thurston and Lockyer will lead them around the park. They need to stop them, control the defensive pattern, and swallow Australia up out wide.
And when you talk about a speed game, DJ, the conditions here tonight at Telstra Dome, it is hard underfoot. There's very little moisture in the ground. This will be a fast game.
Well and truly out of the way. Kiwis have won the toss. Aussies to receive, running from right to left. And of course, given what happened 7 days ago, let's listen in and tune in for the haka and keep an eye on those Aussies.
Can you hear me?
Stirring the passion of the expats here in the Victorian capital. The Aussies standing shoulder to shoulder as we get set for game 2 here in Melbourne of the Tri-Nations.
And unlike what we saw 7 days ago, certainly Not an opportunity to make a mistake there. Brent Webb, he was in the back along with Nathan Feen as well. Last week, a lot of speculation surrounding whether or not Brent Webb was actually going to lead the haka, contributing to Willie Mason's little blow-up, not to be tonight. But now it's about football, and it's about Nathan Feen getting ready to be part of his first international for New Zealand.
Simon Mannering, 37 tackles, not bad for a makeshift back rower last week on debut. Referee tonight, same man who was in charge last week, the 27-year-old Australian based in the UK, Ashley Klein. Get set for fireworks, get set for the footy. We're underway in Melbourne, under the roof of Telstra Dome, and it's O'Mealy on tackle one. Starting tonight in the absence, of course, of that Aussie bad boy, Willie Mason himself. A dusty pass out of dummy half here for the green and golds. And the Kiwis are there in numbers. Australia out to their 20-metre line here. Luke O'Donnell plays it back, and now Seven Asiva hits it up, a man who, of course, for so long has lived in the shadows of one Shane Wedke. What a player he has been, of course, for Brisbane, Queensland, and the Kangaroos. The Aussies now beyond the 30-metre line, opening 60 seconds. Kiwis looking to make amends for their 30-18 loss in Auckland last week, as Jonathan Thurston says, well, go downtown here. And a bouncing ball at the back. And Manu Vatuvai, who of course had all sorts of problems last time he came to Melbourne as a Warrior, he is greeted in good numbers from the Kangaroos. Here's a mistake, and here's a penalty.
Bobbling ball around behind, perfect kick in behind. Vatuvai certainly had his problems there this year with the Warriors, but he takes his time and does it well. And then, well, nearly a given. No dummy half, unbelievable. The ref pulls a penalty, and the Kiwis a little bit lucky to get out of that one.
Talk about being bailed out by the man in the middle. The Cardinals sin at this level. 90 seconds gone in the test match. First time the Kiwis have graced us here in the Victorian capital since 1991, and they get it to halfway.
And so much discussion last week was about the 10 metres by Klein, and already only minutes into the game, the line speed of the Kangaroos leaving well before the ball touches the heel of the playing the ball.
Ball comes across now to Azatazi. Kidwell, of course, right in the thick of things last week. Wiki, he goes to ground. Azatazi passing before the line, he goes to Mannering. And the Warriors centre come back rower, plays it on the 20-metre line. They come the right side, and Jones in the up and under. A test here on Inglis. And we've got a penalty to New Zealand for obstruction.
Harpo was one coming through from the right-hand wing, and Inglis goes up high for the ball for sure. Maybe points are on offer here for Stacey Jones, but contesting the bomb is everything. They go for the line, row parties. Takes it back 5 metres, and the Kiwis will get a repeat set, first one of the match.
Ropati taps it, goes to Jones, and now across to Kidwell. The Kangaroos, look at this, 4 in the tackle. So much for Kidwell running wide. Long way to go on this one, of course. Mannering's got it, and he's not far away. Ropati, a dummy half here tonight. Jones. Bangana. Scored more tries, of course, for the Kiwis in Test football than anybody else. Webb, tricky customer on his feet, of course. 8 metres out. The Kangaroos on their own goal line. Jones has got it. Cross-field kick. There's danger brewing for the Kangaroos. What a let-off. Manu Vatuvai. All he had to do was catch the football, but the Kangaroos survive.
Well, 3 minutes into the game, and you've seen moments with Manu Vatuvai just a little bit too excited. Earlier, playing the ball back down the other end with no one in behind, and here just over-reading it. But go back to the pass, the clearance from the ruck that we got to Stacey Jones. Outstanding.
That ball was floating in the air. Ropo very hard to read, and Judge just missed everybody.
Matt King with a bumping run. Of course, he had his own moments with one Manu Vatuvai in Auckland last week. Luke O'Donnell plays it back. Here's O'Mealy hitting it up. Coming up to 4.5 minutes gone. Game 2, Gillette Tri-Nation, Seven Seaver. He takes the tackle. Fixed up by Pulatua, the Penrith captain. There's Nathan Feen. Born and bred in Mount Isa in northwestern Queensland. Now, tonight on debut for the Kiwis. Webb's got it on the kick return. They fix him up. There's the New Zealand bench. I'm sure there's a few butterflies for the former Cowboy himself. Let's go downstairs, and Stephen McIver, Nathan Fee, not too far away from you.
Not too far away indeed, Cos, and he's one very excited man. Actually bumped into him in Melbourne City this morning. His wife Belinda, his mum and dad have all come down. He didn't think he'd debut this week. We didn't think he'd debut this week. Just a quick weather update, Costo. No sign of wind, no sign of rain. It's 17 degrees inside, very cool, and the pitch is very, very firm. Good footy weather.
Very, very good, Stephen. Yes, the roof is in operation as the Kangaroos now go on the defensive. Quite a strange environment, as I say, for a lot of these players, especially those in black and white. Here's the up and under, a test again for Inglis. He comes up with a fumble. That's offside play. Another penalty to New Zealand.
And on the back of Shantaine Harpy's presence on this occasion, when you look at the size of Shantaine being able to compete.
Hang on. Oh, the fight. Here's a try, perhaps. Everybody caught napping, including the Kangaroos. It's a held-up call. David Kidwell said, "Follow me."
Thought he caught them napping. Took the quick tap. Australia was standing on their line. And it looks like the referee flying right in good spot when we get the replay for it. It's held up over the line. Kidwell.
They keep the pressure on here with the play the ball back, and Ruben Wiki surging towards the Australian goal line. 5 metres out. Road Party, his service from dummy half finds Jones, and now Webb. Webb takes them on. He takes the tackle. Lockyer is there, so too Nathan Hindmarsh. Jones looking for Wiki. They knock him to ground. He was swallowed up by Luke O'Donnell. They come this short side. Bunganar, cut out ball across now to Harper for the line. How close is he? So close they will check the tape. Named on the wing, playing in the centres, back from Bradford. He's not far away, and the video referees will make the call from high above.
Well, as we wait for them to make that decision, so far this game has followed a very similar pattern to what we saw 7 days ago in Mount Smart. A territory battle going on, the Kiwis on the upper hand. Shantaine Harpy, physically, his presence has been well.
Oh, my goodness.
You've got to suggest that there's so many green and gold arms under there. And
well, Nigel Bunganar, of course, stole 4 points in not too dissimilar fashion last week in the series opener. And if benefit of the doubt is applied, we could, and I say could, see a green light.
Well, you could, because we saw the leg there, Greg Inglis. He was the first to be Johnny on the spot. But there is perhaps a slight hint that there is something right there.
Yeah, more than slight for mine.
I'm sure there's plenty of video refs operating right now on the other side of the Tasman, about to push the green button. Go ahead now.
An anxious moment for many of the fans who have come along here tonight on Caulfield Cup Day in Melbourne. Big sporting day in a big sporting town. Here's the call. The referees, they love it upstairs. Up go the fans. The ones wearing black, that is. Harper with the try in his recall to the Kiwi side. And it's New Zealand who will play from in front at 4-0.
The luxury of being able to spread the workload on this right-hand side by playing two centres out wide, and Soliola and Harpe able to interchange in the position. Soliola comes to the chalk, and this time it's Harpe who'll get the ball. Road Party comes this side, and Nigel just shifts it quickly across the face of Kidwell. A good step, beat Hodges, all ends up, and then good presence, good strength, good drive, and he just gets the ball, some part of it, on a bit of grass. We see the first try of the match.
And two noticeable features of this game so early on. Jerome Roparty, the service out of the acting half. It's been sharp, it's been crisp. He's also been able to get some width in his passing game. And Shantaine Harpy, just a physical presence of being able to make his mark. And on this occasion, being able to take it to the line. 3 defenders on him. And still being able to throw that benefit of the doubt into it and coming up with a 4-pointer.
Well, they've been able to spread the ball, Ropo, as well. They were parked over on the left-hand side with Wiki charging out that side. And then 2 plays later, here we go. It comes out the right-hand side, and it's just good one-on-one footwork to get through the first line, and then presence afterwards. We have a little problem here with Stacey Jones and Ear in the ball. you would imagine.
Well, they've made the change, needless to say. He wasn't happy with the steed and was the little general. Now he's got it on the tee. Had a good night with the boot last week, but he's hooked this. Waved away. Haber's try goes unconverted, but a good start for the visitors. They lead 4-0.
Wait, guys.
A restart here off the boot of Darren Lockyer.
Okay, yeah.
So New Zealand with their tails up. What a shot that was from Seven. We expected some ferocity. We seem to be getting it if Seven can keep that up.
And you know it's going to come on the back of just scoring a try, but equally important, it's so vital that the black and whites are able also to be dominant in this next set of 6 and return themselves down the other end of the football field. Seven coming in with a big hit.
Now scouting out a dummy half, Jerome Ropati. He plays it 8 short of halfway. Mannering hits it up, and he is punished by a wall of green and gold right on the midway stripe at Telstra Stadium. New Zealand go the short side. They get a kick away off the boot of Brent Webb. And now Carmichael Hunt. Boom! Get that, India.
And this is a good set. This is exactly what they wanted on the back of the try. Now look for the bully tactics. Now look for the line speed to get up and just jam him in.
King, he is repelled. Mannering downstairs. Cameron Smith with a dummy. And the head went rocking back momentarily there for Luke O'Donnell. Here's the shot on Special K. What a shot it was from Wiki. He didn't miss. 9 minutes gone in the test match.
And the Kangaroos still quite content to play the middle. Looking at Jonathan Thurston, putting it back on the insides. The likes of Seven O'Mealy. Yet to see some width in their game.
Thurston got away from one. Got the kick away. Harper on the full. Former Warrior, of course, 10 short of halfway, has done awfully well since going across to the Northern Hemisphere and linking up with the Bradford Bulls. Vangana with a sortie from dummy half. New Zealand to halfway. Soliola making some inroads.
Slow at dummy half, the Australians not getting off their line as well as they had. Big yards been able to be swallowed up here as Wiki takes another 10. Soliola got 15 the one before.
Wiki plays it back. Ropati goes to Jones. Strong defence from the Kangaroos. Muscling up this time on Tony Pulatua, the Penrith captain, on the receiving end. Jones, again, that crossfield kick. Harper, he's effectively knocked it on. We've got a turnover here. Thurston picks up the scraps for the Kangaroos.
Third time Stacey Jones has come to the side, and why wouldn't he? Inglis has dropped one and also had one been offside as well. That kick, the execution wasn't quite so good, comes off the outside of the boot. And Harpy, who goes up to bat it back in Australia, is the poor end.
A lot of possession for the visitors, a lot of tackling practice for the home side.
But it's a stats that they've certainly addressed. Unlike last week, it is about being able to get them more in your favour. Go back to that kick by Stacey Jones. He would have preferred it to go a little bit closer towards the try line and then be able to attack the ball as opposed to looking for a defensive play.
Here's O'Mealy, still going. He was part of that losing side for the Kangaroos at Allen Road in the Tri-Nations final last season. Thurston, the Cowboys playmaker, with a dab over the line. Lovely touch from Webb. He has to take the tackle. Justin Hodges, two boys from Cairns and Queensland's far north, coming together in the test match. Harper, good stuff it was.
Showing a little bit of footwork at the line, Jontain Harper. Big guy, good footwork. Just puts the defender off, kicks him on a lazy shoulder, and takes an extra 3 or 4 yards. Great play by Webb. Calm and collected at the back, a pretty nasty bounce, made it look easy.
Being chopped down now is Steve Matai. And a second effort, no penalty. Matai lashes out. Andrew Ryan, the man they call the Bobcat, lucky to get away with that.
He leaves nothing for doubt, does he, Steve Matai? Defensively, he just rips in. Offensively, just as eager as well.
Another clearing kick from New Zealand. This time it finds on the full Greg Inglis, Melbourne Storm player, of course, who got to the grand final with his club, State of Origin success, and a test debut last week. Hodges, who was fantastic for Australia in that game, and now 7-a-seater from a standing start. He is easy meat for the New Zealand defence.
There's something going on in these Kangaroos. The persistence with just one off, one off, one off. It's like they're trying to find somehow to suck you into a sense of the calm before the storm. Nothing too enterprising, not a lot of width.
They keep going up the middle. 4-0 the score. Tried a half air. Now a kick from Lockyer. Some pressure at the back on Haupere. Good catch. Good catch it was.
Great start to the game from Hape. Good run from Soliola here, but the play before from Soliola, he absolutely shepherded Inglis out of the way. Inglis trying to get through on the ball and on to Hape. Does a great job.
Vatuvai gets it almost to the 20-metre line. Mannering, he hits it up. Highmarsh is there. So too Ryan. O'Mealy as well. Wiki passing before the line, almost a spill for New Zealand. They maintain possession. No, they don't. I beg your pardon. We've got a knock on. Kedwell with the fumble. It's been spotted by the referee, Ashley Klein.
I actually thought David Kidwell recontrolled and regathered the ball on the way down. Knocked out, short little pass from Ruben Wiki at the line. In the presence of the tackle, he loses the ball and regathers it before it hits the ground, but it touches an Australian player, so therefore it's a knock on.
Brent Kite, who certainly added some starch to the Australian forward pack coming off the bench last week in Auckland. Just stretching on the sideline on this western side of the ground. Kangaroos, loose head and feet. Thurston goes to Lockyer. And now Gasnier, one-on-one. How good is Mark Gasnier?
We said in our pre-game show there's a challenge for the centres this evening. It is how they're going to be able to compete with the one-on-ones that are thrown their way.
Good shot that time from Matai. The head went rocking back. The head of O'Mealy it was, and what a head it is. You can't miss him on the field, nor this man. Hindmarsh, surging run from the Parramatta back rower. 5-time winner of the Thornett medal. Lockyer. He finds Carmichael Hunt. Out the back door she comes. Kangaroos have still got it. Lockyer, a couple of show and goes, and now Thurston. Head down, bum up. 11 out, right in front of the sticks. Cameron Smith goes the right side. And the ball goes loose. It's play on. King for the corner. King's got strength. King's got power. King may have got a try. Melbourne Storm player playing a test match in Melbourne. Matt King may well have scored the equaliser at Telstra Dome. Again, they will check the tape.
In the background, Gasnier has gone down and has not got up. He's onto his knees now, onto his heels. But he went down, tries to catch the ball, it goes straight through his hands. And did that go forward? Well, you'd have to suggest it would. He was standing behind the line when it touched his hands. And King, well, the finish there, does his right elbow head out the field of play anyway. Look at that, he's behind the line, touches it, then it gets propelled forward.
Well, there's no doubt there with the play off Gasnier. There's certainly a knock-on in that play.
Well, just to bring everybody up to date, we do have 2 video referees, as was the case last week. Chris Ward and Ian McIntosh from Australia and New Zealand respectively, but the Kiwi is officially an observer, they tell me. So Ward effectively has the call, and the Aussie says no try. No try to King. It's still 4-0, and Gasnier has got some problems.
Tony Ayub, the physio, working with Gasnier. He looks okay. He was awkward more than anything when he hit the ground. Took him an age to get up. Up go the hands. He cops one, doesn't he? Manu didn't miss him last week. He gets him again this week as well. Up and in defence. You beauty.
We saw 40 minutes of football last week. That's how long it took the Kangaroos to make some adjustments to the game. Question marks, and certainly coming up with the right call. All offside off the scrum.
Well done, Stacey Jones. Darren Lockyer questioning
back away, Nathan.
the play This is a bit of a dust-up and back play, but you watch Stacey Jones here. Away he goes, he runs, doesn't even take the ball with him, sucks him in. You beauty.
And that was a set play.
Will it work?
Well, I'd be feeling a little miffed if they, in fact, had all stayed back and Stacey was still trying to claim that they're all offside, but well called.
Wiki on the bike, getting a spell. New Zealand 5 metres short of halfway. Now taking them on for the Kiwis, Tony Pulatua. He crosses the midway strike. O'Mealy also getting a spell. Dr. Hugh Hazard, who has had his work cut out this week with Mason, of course, escorting him from the field.
And Kate's introduction to the game last week, as no doubt we'll see again this evening. A little bit more athletic, a little bit quicker around the centre than O'Mealy. Watch it start to open up.
Now running it, the football. Kidwell offloading to Bungana. Chopped down by Thurston. And Hodges, that was silly. No need for that. Just ask the referee.
Digging themselves a grave, Australia. Big yards to be made. Australia back some 12 metres. Every tackle, the referee holding them back, and New Zealand just swallowing up the metres at the moment. Constant 10 every time. Gives you some room to move the ball, and they're doing that. Off to Nigel, out wide. Plenty of an expensive game here.
Row party to Jones, and now to Kidwell. And he is consumed by Kite. Tackle 1. 16 out from the Kangaroo goal line. Stacey Jones at first receiver. More pressure here on Australia. Jones back on the inside. He finds the former Kiwi captain himself, Nathan Kalis. Jones. Webb. They swing it across, and now looking to score. He'll do more than that. He'll go all the way and celebrate. Soliola, no try. How did he not score? His second test match, a let-off for the Aussies. The ball just somehow coming loose, and the try goes begging.
Seems like he's grounded the ball just before the line, but once again, they sort Hodges out. They get Hodges going one way. He moves to the left as Thurston seems to have a slight knee problem. But Hodges out wide in this left centre position for Australia, beaten twice in 2 movements, one for a try, and that one should have been a second.
And pleasing to see that also the Kiwis are able to construct and create those one-on-one. Soliola on that occasion doing what Gasnier was able to do for the Kangaroos moment to go down the other end.
Pass that almost went astray. Good crowd here tonight. There's a big walk-up of the fans in the last hour before kickoff. As we approach the midway point of the opening stanza. Seven Asiva, he winds up. Good run, great run. Cameron Smith kicking inside the 40, but nowhere near the sideline. A kind bounce it is for the future Leeds Rhinos fullback Brent Webb, the former Warrior, of course, himself. Back to the 30-metre line. He plays it back here for Soliola.
Nathan Feen warming up sideline. Remember, Brian McLennan said in our pre-game show, lads, around the 20-minute mark. We are inside the 20th minute. Expect to see the Mount Isa product debut for the Kiwis very soon.
And they'll be watching in the Isa tonight through Channel 9. Our pictures courtesy, in fact, of the 9 network here in Melbourne tonight. Kidwell goes to Jones. They keep it going. Kalis pours through, crosses halfway.
Good play the ball, good quick play the ball. Set move, Stacey Jones on the wraparound, carving up the middle.
Jones again. In fact, Webb it was with the crossfield kick this time, and this time a clean catch, good catch. Inglis coming up with the goods.
More than good, more than clean. It was an outstanding effort by the youngster. King absolutely hammered as he looks to just rack it up and give his forwards a bit of a break. Interesting proposition though with Jerome row party. If Nathan Feen is in fact warming up, what will Bluey McLennan do? So many options available to him. Jerome able to move out to the 5'8", shifting around the likes of Shantaine Harpe. Simon Mannering is actually on the wing at the moment.
He's got so much flexibility, has Brian McLennan. This would not impress him, no.
Bust side.
Kangaroos get a helping hand. Their first penalty of the night. It has taken close to 21 minutes. Kiwis already with 5. It's a big stat.
And it hurts Costo too. It's late in the tackle count. New Zealand had dominated for the first 3 tackles of that set itself. Big hits on King. And then when Hindmarsh just goes a little bit wider down the right-hand side, they pick up a penalty late in the tackle.
Sevenasiva. He takes them on. 3 in the tackle. Cameron Smith goes to Thurston. Short ball across to Kite. Will he come up with the offload? Not this time. There is a sense of urgency from the Kiwis in defence. 5 tries they conceded last week in game 1. Smith to Thurston, a cutout ball. Here's pressure. Lockyer. Carmichael Hunt in the corner this time. Matt King again has gone oh so close.
Well, that's going to be the third tackle.
And again, they'll check the tape.
First, and then secondly, just check the corner flag.
Matt King has already been denied. And again, he is in the spotlight at the Telstra Dome.
Well, and it was a play that brought the crowd to a stop in the process of doing the Mexican wave. King certainly gets down low. Vatuvei comes along and look for the outside leg. No try.
What a tackle. What a save. They had a huge battle, of course, on and off the field, literally, in Auckland last week. This time, copybook tackle, a try-saving tackle from Vatuvei.
That is stretching your defence to the maximum. So hard to defend this Australian side when Darren Lockyer and Carmichael Hunt have this play where Carmichael Hunt wraps around the back. It really tests you out wide, especially when you've been coming up and in defence. This will be a red light with no try, and King will be denied for the second time. A scrum to the Kiwis, but take your hat off and give your defence a big tick on the left-hand side for New Zealand. Great effort from Manu Vatuvei. A couple of times he's come in off his wing for the big hit. This time he stays out. And cleans up marvellously well.
And some interesting changes going on there for the Kiwis. We can see Nathan Feen about to lock down the scrum with Adam Blair as his front row partner. Shontaine Harpy has also come into the second row. Simon Mannering at the moment out on the wing.
Speaking of changes, Thaiday on the park as well for the Kangaroos. A debut for the man on screen, a Torres Strait Islander, just like Brent Webb, except he's wearing green and gold. Sevenasiva getting a spell, hence the arrival of Thaiday. So the changes being implemented by both sides here. Nathan Feen touching the football as a Kiwi for the first time ever, as Kalis goes to ground and the chant for the Kiwis goes up around the ground.
And the play that you expected to happen as Feen finds a kick out of the acting half. Received well there by Hodges up the back. It's the shift of Shontaine Harpy into the second row. He performs so well there in the final at Allen Road.
Well, he chases well too.
And Simon Mannering just giving a little bit of a breather and bring his offensive game to play.
Gasnier. So Brian McLennan ringing through some changes here. Thaiday to halfway. Cameron Smith to Lockyer from the Brisbane, Queensland and Australian captain, puts boot to ball. Look at the chase from Hodges. Mannering makes a meal of it and almost pays big money for it. Big pressure it was from Hodges, coming through at a great rate of knots, and he forces the mistake. Mannering out of the forwards, clearly in the back line out of Nick. Looking at that replay, made a real mess of it.
We were just talking about the luxury of playing this guy in the lock forward position. It actually saves Brian McLennan an interchange in one of his forwards by shifting Harpy in there to do some work. And also Soliola can head in there to the back row and that as well. But the little touches of playing out wide, with the ball in behind, just eluding Simon Mannering. Although he tidies it up, they now have to, for the second time in the match, defend a repeat set of 6. Watch Darren Lockyer come into his own here.
More changes also for the Kangaroos. Berrigan, the Churchill medalist, is on the park. Cameron Smith getting a well-deserved rest as Kite goes to ground. Another penalty, this time to the Aussies.
There, when I can't move, you move.
Just too slow, according to Klein.
And if there's a difference when you get the penalties, it's about where you get them in the game. And when we're looking at the moment, 16 minutes left in the first half, and the Kangaroos just outside the 20-metre, you couldn't want for more. 6 in front of you, and 15 metres to travel.
Fire day on the charts for the Kangaroos. Physical stuff. Some argy-bargy in the play of the ball. Thurston, Lockyer, quick hands. Now it goes to ground. It breaks down early in the tackle count. And the Kiwis, they can breathe a sigh of relief.
And wonderful line defence there by the Kiwis as well. Good speed, getting off, getting up in the face of the Kangaroos. It started with the collision on thigh day. Steve Matai there just feeling the effects of the impact. No doubting the commitment.
Shontaine Harper just lining up Thiaday in the tackle. Thiaday in the game. Matai has got some issues to deal with himself as this war of attrition continues in Melbourne. And it's starting to heat up.
Marsh came close to finding himself on the back end of a penalty there. He got involved late in that tackle.
Jones, Kidwell crabbing across field. Bunganar transfers the footy. Soliola locking for Mannering. Thurston's got it. That should be a penalty. Well, that should be a penalty. What's the touch judge doing? My goodness, twice the Kangaroo in possession was on the chalk. The second one was illegal. My goodness.
You carry on arguing to yourself.
The pictures do not lie.
I think he was in the process of actually getting to his feet. The tackle had been called.
I'll show you some tapes after the game of the NRL from this season, but we'll watch this play continue, Peter. Kangaroos still scoreless. Can you believe that? King's got it, and it's not been for the want of trying on his part.
And hasn't Friday been active? Willing to get in, assuming a role of a bit of an enforcer. Looking to invite the likes of Hindmarsh as well. This time Simon Mannering makes a bird of it.
Mannering probing for a hole. There's nothing for him.
Last week in the first test match, we saw Australia absolutely pepper New Zealand's left-hand defensive edge. It has held up well with Vatuvai and also Matai out there this evening so far. They've moved players around New Zealand in defensive, and they've had to. But so far, they've come up when they've needed to, and they've drifted when they have as well.
The Kiwis now go to Jones. Again, a kick. And across there, doing well, Carmichael Hunt. Test match number 3.
And the next interchange the Kiwis are going to make is David Farlongo, and it's an interesting one because it's at that time of the match where you just want a little bit more of a punch. You want someone to come up with a jab, and it could very well be in the form of the South Sydney back rower. One who likes to play physical, likes to play strong. It could give you the jab that you need.
Hodges. 10 short of halfway. The Brisbane Bronco plays the footy back. Lockyer turns it back for Kite, and now Hindmarsh is under siege. He still comes up with the offload. That pass was very dubious. It did come back in the end. Inglis has got it. They show him the sideline, and he's not far away from it. Mannering is there. So too Soliola and Bunganar. What a run that was. What a tackle as well on Berrigan. Fiend was there. Thurston now looking to thread the need. A little kick in behind the line. He couldn't get the bounce.
But he nearly collected Blair. He made it his mission to come out of the line. He had him in his target. So close. The Kiwis go wide. For most of this game, it's been one that's been kept pretty close water. The crowd, every now and again, looking for something special to come into it. So far, disappointed. Kangaroos are trying to play football. They're trying to get in. But defensively, the Kiwis have been outstanding, and also their error rate has been kept to a minimum.
Pulatua heading for the bench. Fiend goes across to Kidwell. Bunganar gets it to halfway almost. They miss out Blair, and New Zealand now looking to penetrate the line through Jones. In fact, it was Webb, and now on the last they get the kick away. Inglis has got it. Little juggle it was. 3 interchanges have been made by the Kangaroos, and now we've got another penalty to the home side. It was all one-way traffic in that department early on, and who can argue with that?
Nigel Vagana holding on for dear life as Inglis. He has been peppered with kicks high and now along the ground as well. Such a dangerous player, we know, when given space. But today, they've wrapped him up, only just.
3 straight penalties for the green and golds. Sevenasiva checks back into the game. Kite hits it up. Berrigan goes to Sevenasiva, looking for more work straight away after being brought back into the battle. Lockyer running the show as he does so well for club, state and country. And Gasnier, jolting tackle it was. Zipping away, Berrigan, he finds Hindmarsh. 3 in the tackle, he goes to ground. Half an hour gone, game 2 of the Gillette Tri-Nations. Kangaroos looking for their 2nd win of the series, and this, of course, just the 2nd game, and that's a dangerous scene for the Aussies. Thurston, he falls over. They've gone backwards, 25 metres. And now Lockyer, under siege, under pressure, running the football on the last. He pushes the envelope, they keep it going. No, knock on, and a push in the back. And a little bit of trash talk at Telstra Dome.
Just when you're hanging on and your defence is hanging in there, Darren Lockyer steps up to the plate and tries to run it on the last. Carmichael Hunt just knocks on. That's trying to expose this edge here. Surprised that wasn't called 6 again. Did it come off Soliola as he went through, but it wasn't. Last tackle. Now David Farlongo, after playing in the test earlier this year, gets a good run.
Kalis. He plays it on the halfway line. Feen, good ball it was. Blair, some second phase. Feen involved. So too Jones looking for support, looking for holes. He offloads, he finds Webb. Webb gets away from one. His name's Lockyer. Now it comes to Mannering, who seems to be on a roving commission. What was that? Tunnel ball? He'd like to have that all over again. Settling things down now, David Fa'alongo. South Sydney enforcer. Jones. Kidwell. Vangana. Soliola. There is no room to move.
What's needed right now is someone just prepared to straighten this play out, play a little bit more direct, and then look for people like Stacey Jones to find the end of it. This perhaps not being the ideal end to a set, but get some directness into it.
The bounce of the ball, very cruel there for Stacey Jones. They need to spell the Kiwis. They've just about fired all their shots. He's looking for the sideline to try and bounce the ball out and make a scrum, but it goes dead in goal.
TJ, the Kiwis may have fired all their shots, but I tell you what, sitting down here on sideline, the Kangaroos are feeling the pace right now. They're not used to this, and some of their big forwards are blowing big time.
I suggest New Zealand are blowing just as hard, Steve, and half-time can't come quick enough for both sides.
Mate, they look pretty good.
Australia are dangerous.
I'll give you one thing, the Kiwis look all right tonight.
Matt King, almost into touch. He is into touch.
Oh, great play. All the little things on the football field that make the difference.
The man with the unmistakable hairstyle comes up with the error, and the Kiwi fans on the side of the field, the far side, boy oh boy, did they love that or what?
Vatuvai just able to hold enough weight of Kings up to drag him towards touch, and then the little champion and Stacey Jones comes in to lend a hand, forces the error.
Arms around. Stay in there, Luke, I'll call it.
Just over 6 minutes shy of Oranges. Scrum forming.
Just hold the weight, guys. Let's go in straight.
10 metres, Aussie side of halfway.
Get in, David.
Jones puts it in. Kidwell picks it up, finds Jones. Comes to Webb. Webb looking to slice through. He stumbles, he falls, he goes to ground. Harper, the only try scorer in the contest thus far. Feen, Kidwell, Jones. Chopped down, it was a very good tackle one-on-one. Berrigan doing the honours for the Kangaroos. The Kiwis now building something. They're only 10 metres out. Aussies camped on their own goal line. Jones reaching for the footy, finds Kidwell. They shut him down. No, they don't. It comes out the back and the Aussies have got possession. What an anticlimax that was.
Just about to say Kidwell caught that ball so well as Australia get a penalty for an indiscretion in the play the ball. Nathan Feen, the culprit. And here it is. Kidwell caught that ball going into that tackle marvellously well. And with the tension of Hindmarsh over the top, tries to offload it and get it out the back as good as he can. But Hindmarsh, Johnny on the spot, covers well.
What a machine he has been for so many years for Parramatta. Kidwell gets a spell. And the Kangaroos, all of a sudden, 4 metres short of halfway. The back end of the first half, this is where they can be deadly, so deadly. O'Mealy is upended.
And it'll be interesting to see what instruction Ruben Wickie, the captain, has brought to the field just before re-entering the game. He had the headphones on, obviously talking to Coach Bluey McLennan. And I would imagine, with only minutes remaining in the first 40, look at the scoreboard, you're in front. You don't need to push this one.
Berrigan missed a fix-it for Brisbane. Now the backup hooker for the Kangaroos. Lockyer. Inglis from the left wing looking to create the extra man. They won't need the extra man. He's all class, Greg Inglis. Remember the name. He'll be around for a long time to come. This superstar of the 21st century gets Australia's first try of the night. We are locked up at 4 apiece.
Costo, I thought there was a person in an offside position in Australia at the start of this play. Let's have a look. A fine play from Inglis around the back, but let's have a look. Lockyer goes in, and that player right there running in front, Andrew Ryan, out of the picture perhaps.
Sometimes we're guilty of perhaps trying to find things. The play there, it all came on the back end of Lockyer. The ability to be able to attract the defender. They had him in his sights. They came at him quick, but he was still able to deliver the pass. And when you talk about class, Costa, and you talk about the star of the new millennium, the likes of Inglis, out of nothing. There's a hit there, O'Donnell just hanging around, loitering, but certainly not guilty of acting as a decoy. Ryan as it is, but Inglis, isn't he a superstar, this kid?
Well, he's on the left wing, Ropo, and he scored a try on the right wing. They've peppered him in defence. And the first time he gets the ball on the wrong side of the field, he comes up good. Pushes Stacey Jones off, shows a good turn of speed, and just outraces the defence to the corner.
Greg Inglis, just his second test match, already 2 tries on the international stage. New South Wales born and bred, but has been picked up by the Queenslanders, and what a pick-up it is. And now Thurston looking to convert the try. 5 in from touch. There's the angle, there's the kick, curling around. Beautiful, just beautiful from way out for Thurston. Inglis, what a moment for him. His first test match on home soil, and it's the Aussies at 6-4, 2 before the break.
Heartbreaker for New Zealand. Concentration now. 2.5 to the break, and after defending so well, they have their line crossed. We'll see what they're made of in this next couple of sets, and then they'll get some instruction at half-time.
Kayla sucking in the big ones. A restart off the boot of Stacey Jones. O'Mealy winds up. Take no prisoners approach from the Bulldog strongman. Gasnier, who was roughed up in the opening exchanges tonight. A low-scoring affair here in Melbourne tonight. Hindmarsh. Some vigour in the tackle still from the Kiwis, with half-time almost upon us. King being really tested by the New Zealand left side defence here tonight. Seven Asiva his 9th season in the top grade. And now a clearing kick on the last, courtesy of Thurston. Webb's got it all under control for the Kiwis.
Finding good position tonight, Webb. Reading the kicks well as O'Mealy. Thurston chases his kick. And also Bobcat Ryan. Give him a little bit of attention. And Vatuvai, who's having a great battle out on that left wing with Matt King, comes in for a bit of work.
The Kiwis now, safety first football inside the final 60 seconds of the first half. Kalis, he just tucks it under the wing. He knows what is required here. They've dominated for the majority of the first half, but sadly it's not reflected on the scoreboard. The Kiwis now finding themselves 2 points in arrears. Jones has to get rid of the football. Ruben Wiki, he's not employed to do that, but he got the kick away. Hodges, in the dying seconds of the first half, will die with the football here. Carmichael Hunt from dummy half is taken care of by Mannering and Harpag. There goes the siren in the background. Lockyer's got it. He's still trying. He spreads the football to Gasnier, and the St George Illawarra centre three-quarter goes to ground in the final play of the first half. Ricky Stewart and Craig Bellamy, the Aussie Brains Trust, they've got a test match on their hands tonight, a low-scoring affair, 1 try apiece. It's Australia 6-4 over the Kiwis at the Telstra Dome in Melbourne. Stick with us. More from Game 2 of the Gillette Tri-Nations right after this.
Here at St Helens, did better than expected. Winning all 3 was just awesome to do that in your first year, so it was unreal.
Okay, the boys are coming back onto the park. It's only 2 points at the split. What was the word from Bluey?
Just really to stay in the arm wrestle. It's been great defence from both teams, and he really just wants to try and take advantage of some opportunities that he's seeing. So I think the boys are going great.
You tried before half-time, didn't knock them too much?
No, not at all. The heads are still up, so just looking forward to get back in the arm wrestle.
See you in Christchurch?
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
Well, he's certainly in the frame for selection. The fact that he's back down under as Ricky Stewart just reminds his players of what is required for them to chalk up their second victory in this tournament.
And DJ, when you look at the hand signals there by Ricky Stewart, very clear. It's about push up. Continue to push up, perhaps not too dissimilar to what Kalis has mentioned with the Kiwis, and that's about staying in the arm wrestle, do the little things.
Early in each half, Australia can play a really compressed defensive line. Their wingers can be sometimes some good 20 metres infield from touch, and there on the edges lie a couple of opportunities. Because Darren Lockyer hasn't been called on to do a lot in that first half from either side out. They'll target him as well as Hodges, because he defends inside Hodges and Hindmarsh. Gasnier has been a little bit quiet, showed us one glimpse from a scrum where he could really run. King has been under fire, and English, well, what a player. They're a fine team.
So important you go back to 0, the arm wrestle. The battle for territory, for advantage, will continue all over again. And then the little opportunities that come, ensure that you're in a position to be able to fire the shot. You might get one shot, make it pay.
I think the arm wrestles are given. We know it's going to be that in this tri-series with these two nations. And you hit it on the head there, the nail. It is taking advantage of your opportunities when they do come.
Did you hit the nail on the head or the head on the nail?
You can do it both ways in my world.
Well, that's exactly what I've been saying.
Ouch. All right. Both teams back out onto the ground in tip-top shape. It's a venue that certainly had plenty of criticism over the years, of course, primarily used by the AFL. It was used recently, last week, in fact, for the A-League Soccer. First time we've seen the Kiwis here in town since 1991. Second half underway, Game 2, 2006, Gillette Tri-Nations. And Vatuvai, the first play of the second half, 2-point spread. And the trench warfare continues with Wiki charging upfield.
Costo just spoke to Alfie Langer, one of the assistant coaches, the great Alfie Langer for the Kangaroos. He said Ricky's words were simple: stop taking the soft option and get hard.
Yes, two old rivals, weren't they? Queensland versus New South Wales. I'm sure it brings back so many fond memories as the Kiwis now keep it going on the far side of the field. Opening 60 seconds, term number 2.
And the halftime break often results in very different paths for respective sides. It'll be interesting to see how either of these sides return in the second 40. The early exchanges will tell who's on and who actually enjoyed the fact that they had to stop for a breather.
Kangaroos in possession, 25 out from their own goal line. Mannering leading the charge defensively. Playing it back there was Greg Inglis. What a scintillating try it was just before the break.
For the Kiwis coming out of their own end, the little tip-on plays from their front rows to their second rows been very handy, giving them a couple extra yards.
He got a call from his touchy there. It took a while. Certainly quite forward coming out of the ruck. A little repair going on sideline.
Tony Pulatura it is. There's the pass, and fair enough.
Interesting that it would come so late.
As long as they get it right. Mark O'Mealy starting this one, of course, in the absence of the wild child himself, Willie Mason. I'm sure the Cantabrians and league fans in the South Island will be hoping to vent their spleen at him, if you like, when the series moves to Christchurch next Saturday night, when Great Britain get their campaign underway. Big winners over a Newcastle side last night in their warm-up match. As the Kiwis go on the attack, Jones back on the inside, down it goes once more. Blair couldn't collect. We will have a scrum.
And those were one of the opportunities that Coach Brian McLennan was referring to. You're given the ball, you're sitting on the 30-metre line, and then in your first set.
But more importantly, Roper, they're setting up for something here. They'd come from the scrum, come 2 plays wide, punch 2 back into the middle, and then I'm sure there would have been a play down an edge.
Kangaroos now with Hodges. Good fend, strong man. Fine run it was. 11 short of halfway. Thurston's got it. He turns it back to Sevenasiva, Fijian-born Kangaroo, who's come up with a knock on, and they've missed it. My goodness. Play continues with O'Mealy crossing halfway. Should have had a turnover, but it's still on here for the Aussies, and it could prove costly with Thurston threatening to go through. Lockyer has numbers stacked on his left side. Hodges beats one, got away from Blair, still going, has lost the ball. Was there a strip? No, says the referee. Bunganar's got it. Perhaps that was a square up. Hodges is looking around saying, where's the call?
That's exactly what the Kiwis wanted there.
And now they've jumped early, the Aussies. And Darren Lockyer looks busted.
He's in all sorts of bother.
Just catching his breath. Darren Lockyer seemed to twist a shoulder. And this man, Hodges, so dangerous in the last couple of weeks of the regular season in the finals for Brisbane, playing at fullback in the centres here. Was that ball ripped?
Of course it was.
You said the square up was on.
Brent, we've got away with one for sure. 4 minutes gone, second half. Wiki carts it upfield, just short of the 40-metre line. 6-4 the score. Aussies with a skinny lead here. Current world champions hosting the current Tri-Nations champions. Tackle count, the Aussies have been busy tonight, but a long way to go in this one. Bunganar plays it back. Wiki making some inroads. Well, it was a panic pass. Well, it wasn't on. Take your pick.
Ruben be disappointed with that. He came up with one just before the half-time. The pass didn't need to be made.
Matt King. What a bumping run that was. And all of a sudden, the Aussies with Sevenasiva getting a smell of proceedings here. And they pick him up, dump him back. It was ugly. It was nasty. It was illegal.
Easy, guys. David, just right here.
Tackle gone wrong for sure. 3 in the tackle. Up he goes, Petro. Kalis far longer and Blair in there. Possibly the damage done by Blair standing up. The other players trying to take Petro to the ground.
So the Aussies fine touch. Thurston now goes back to Seven Asiva. He's not hurt. He's still going strong. No complaints from the big man. O'Mealy powering towards the line. Good offload it was. Hindmarsh. Will he throw it out the back? Not this time. Kiwis on their own goal line at the Coventry end of the ground. The switch from Lockyer. He finds Thurston. He is engulfed by Vangana. Good one-on-one tackle it was.
They'll stay with the same way.
Lockyer has runners. The ball goes loose. Harper's got the scraps.
But again, Kiwi defence on the goal line, outstanding. The willingness to get off the line, to do it at speed and throw yourself in. First was Nigel Varganas closing someone down. And then Soliolo gets involved.
So the Kiwis now need some willing workers. The likes of Blair, good offload from the Melbourne Storm player. Just 16 first grade games before his test debut. What a quick call-up it has been for the former Northland schoolboy.
And just go back to that incident where Dave Failonga was spoken to by the referee with regard to the tackle. They had 30 minutes post-match to lodge a complaint if they wish.
What is this?
Rolled forward.
Is this NRL or NFL? Talk about a wide receiver.
Well, he's not a bad one at that.
Put him in the 49ers. Put him somewhere. This wasn't on.
Second row is not blind.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with you there, Costo. Well and truly, advantage forward for sure. A touchy, no job to do at all. It was a given. But the option was there. They had them sprung on this side. They wanted to go there 2 plays earlier. And Brent Webb, who's doing a fine job taking some pressure off Stacey Jones today in the halves.
The Kiwis have started. DJ, the Kiwis have started the show on the outside. The right-hand side, again, left coming with Manu Vatuve's way, that they're starting to open things up on the flanks. Hindmarsh again.
And he's lost the ball, and this time we get the call. Well, he missed one before, did Ashley Klein. And look at the body language here from the NZers.
Some of the touches of David Failonga have been fantastic. Just little shoves back like that, Feen over the top, but the immediate impact, initial impact to start with. And just trying to push the player back that extra yard, puts them in a different position.
Well, a lot of discussion as to whether or not the likes of Pritchard should have stayed in the game for his offensive, his second phase play. But no doubting David Failonga defensively, he certainly makes his mark known.
And for all you Frank Pritchard fans, I must say that he was most impressive in the curtain raiser tonight. The New Zealand A side that thumped their Kangaroo opponents, if you like, 48 points to 18. As the chant once more goes up for the visitors. This expat Kiwi population making some noise. Matai struggling with injury. Jones goes through, beats one. Great offload, got it back to Webb. Brent Webb, can he keep going? Not quite. What a tackle it was. It was Greg Inglis. It's still on if they spread it. Jones across out wide. Kalis in the corner. Will they get there? Yes! Yes, they do! Soliola out wide. He bombed a try in the first half. This time he's planted the football like a gardener in the backyard. This time he gets 4 points. This time the Kiwis, they retake the lead.
When things are happening 100 mile an hour, sometimes you're just willing the players to hold the ball and not pass that last pass. The break up the middle was fantastic. We've been waiting for this. We've been waiting for Stacey Jones to arrive. And what about that? And this pass here from Webb, he could have tossed it, but he decided to hold it. And that's the patience that was required. The shift came then. 2 passes to the right. Jones back in action again after being dumped. And then a good tip on from Mannering at the end. And have a look at the strength of this man. He has been waiting to score a try like that for about 40 minutes. Denied in the far corner on the right in the first half, and he gets one.
Well, the last 10 minutes or so, they've been showing signs that they're beginning to threaten on the wide game, looking to go. This time it's about patience. Webby outstanding, being able to pull it in, starting with Stacey Jones, but that's a special play. Simon Mannering out the back door. Forget about the reverse flick. Forget about around the corner. This was just tunnel ball going straight out the back. Soliolo Soliola, you star.
That was Stacey Jones of 2002. That was almost an identical run, almost in his grand final try that he was involved in. But this kid dreamed of playing with Stacey Jones. You saw it in game day. Josiah Soliola, what a night for him at the Dome.
Stephen, I've watched Josiah Soliola for the last 2 years at the Roosters, and especially at training. He just holds the ball in one hand like a basketball, similar to Michael Johnson. And the presence of mind to do that and buy himself some time to put it over the line was just fantastic.
Michael Jordan currently going through China at the moment, talking about basketball.
Stacey Jones has sprayed it, not for the first time tonight. 11 gone, second stanza. It's the Kiwis by 2.
Just briefly, Costo, Steve Matai just had work on his right shoulder, looks a little bit uncomfortable. Mind you, he's been defending like a Ford all night, so it doesn't come as a surprise.
Not at all. A noted defender for Des Hasler and the Manly Seagulls. He certainly got some whack to him out wide. Lockyer gets us back underway. So New Zealand playing now from in front with Vatu Vai.
We talked about body language just before the scoring of that try, but also most satisfying was looking at the Australian defenders. So many of them showing last-minute graphs. They were desperate and not just quite being able to hang in their 7 receiver, particularly on Webb. Last-minute plays. They get 6. It's signalled there by Klein.
And rightly so. So coming up to tackle one here with Nathan Kalis, one of 6 Kiwis who've played at this venue, one of only 2 alongside Vunganart who've tasted success here.
Boy's got an appetite for some work, this kid Blair. That's his second hit up on that set of 6.
Jones running the football, turning back the clock perhaps. Harpad, he goes to ground.
I tell you what, speaking to Tony Iro, and he talks about this kid Blair, and he talks about Melbourne Storm and the job that they do down here in Victoria in terms of preparing so many of these youngsters. Makes their job all so much easier when the likes of Adam Blair turn up and they know exactly what they need to do.
Feeing to Jones, and Azatazi is back in the battle. Feen on debut for the Kiwis with a kick in behind the line, and not a bad option under the circumstances.
It's a perfect option. It's exactly what you want. You're sitting in the driving seat. You're edging yourself up the right end of the football field, so you're going to show a bit of patience, slow it down a little bit. You've just been on the back end. Now you can just sit in the driving seat and force them back in. Look to force an error, work your defense, work the bully.
Scrum forming 10 metres out from the Australian goal line at the Tony Lockett, the plugger, and if you like, end of the ground. And the Aussies not going nowhere at the moment with Hodges in reverse. Andrew Ryan, the premiership winning Bulldog captain from a couple of years ago, he goes to ground, greeted by his, well, former teammate now, Roy Azatazi, of course, off to South Sydney next season. Cameron Smith, the Australian hooker, champing at the bit. Thurston with the chip over the top, and the bounce is favourable for the Kiwi. Here's Webb launching the counter-attack. There's a spread out on the right here. It comes to Soliola. Around the corner she goes. My word, it was building out wide for the NZers. New Zealand showing plenty of promise out wide after the chip over the top from Jonathan Thurston, who, for the record, took an obvious dive.
Well, that's Darcy standing his ground. A great play from Webb here. Look at him flipping over his kite, and Soliola sets Mannering up perfectly with an in and away, and a beautiful one at that, and then the ball around the back, and Mannering possibly not expecting it from the Roosters. Soliola gets it going to touch.
The Aussies now in possession. Inglis gets a bit of a facial. No need for him to see the beautician this week. They get the penalty to boot. Not that I'd know. 6-6 the penalty count. It was 5-zip at one stage to Brian McLennan. and his Kiwis. And there is public enemy number 1, Willie Mason. You reckon he's not on a few dartboards around New Zealand? Here's another penalty. And this perhaps might be worth a shot at goal. We'll have a lecture, in fact. Let's listen in to Ruben Wickie and the referee.
Okay, firstly there, the tackle's completed, then you've gone back on with your knees there, okay, so there's no need for that at all, okay? Ruben, that's 2 play the ball penalties on the bounce, okay? Come on, let's just sort them out, okay? There's no need for that at all.
You tell me they're painful, says Ruben Wickie. They certainly are. Possibly going on with a little bit long here with that knee before marking up. Australia, Thurston is kicking absolutely on fire. Decide to try and level the game up.
Certainly not a surprise move. I think it says a lot about the Kiwi defence here tonight.
It also says a lot about the Kiwi attack as well, going down the other end. We talk about body language. Simon Mannering not being able to take the ball off Soliolo, but there's everything to suggest that they're feeling confident, they're feeling good. Just a couple of penalties back-to-back that's certainly making it a little difficult. But everything that they're displaying, demonstrating defensively. At the moment, you talked about it coming into this match, that they could very well be specials tonight.
Well, as far as the bookmakers were concerned, again, New Zealand rank outsiders for this one. Jonathan Thurston, as Stephen McIver said earlier, it was sweet as cherry pie, that sideline conversion. He can knock him over. 30 out from goal, slight angle. Looks okay. Will he squeeze it off the upright? You betcha. A little bit of luck for Thurston and the Kangaroos. 57 gone, game 2 of the Tri-Nations. We're locked up in Melbourne at 8 apiece. Cameron Smith, you see on the sideline, has been benched since the 24th minute as we see Kedwell return for the Kiwis. Quite remarkable when you look back at Cameron Smith in the game time that, of course, he's become accustomed to playing for the Melbourne Storm, captaining the Melbourne Storm. Hindmarsh also getting a spell now. Stacey Jones sends us into the next passage of play. Here's Brent Kite. Hasn't he developed this season under Steve Blocker-Roach, part of the coaching staff at Brookvale? He certainly blossomed at Manly.
Well, he had no way to go. He copped a huge amount of criticism. Certainly one of the more higher paid players in Manly, and he's responded in the best possible way. He's had an outstanding season, particularly the back end.
Anthony Tupu is on the field for the Kangaroos. Of course, coming in to cover for the injured Rennie Maitua. Here's Thurston, here's the kick, he drills it down the tram tracks. And Webber's got it covered. He gets away from Lockyer and got it back to the 20. And this will help put him on a dairy farm because he's milked it quite nicely here for the Kiwis. Who are we to complain?
It's possibly Australia's best set of 6 this one, with a kick on the end of it down the right-hand side. And Webb, who's having a fine match, brings the ball back well. And there's the square up. We see Fa'alongo get penalised just a couple of minutes ago for the Kiwis. And this time, it's O'Donnell.
Another key change could be happening right now, boys, with Jerome Ropati lining up to come on again. Probably see Nathan Fien right now. Fien off, Ropati on.
Thank you, Stephen, for that. As New Zealand now cross halfway. As a Tarzi. Well, it wasn't on. It was a low percentage play, it must be said, and it was early in the count.
It didn't need to happen. It didn't need to come. There was plenty up their sleeve to be able to continue to construct the build to wherever they were going. They were given an opportunity on the back of the penalty. WWF styles possibly out of Brent Webb, but he got what he wanted. All undone.
That has come loose. Play continues. There was no strip. So it doesn't prove costly here for New Zealand. Tupu with a loose carry perhaps. And New Zealand now 41 metres out from the Aussie goal line. As a Tarzi. Dally M prop of the year. This time he makes sure of it. 30 metres out from the goal line. And almost a fumble there from Blair. Jones holds it up. It comes to Fa'alongo. He got it out the back door. Excellent work. And threatening to go through was Ropati. Blair takes them on, shows it, pops out. Thurston's got it. Disappointing play from New Zealand, to say the least.
Well, can happen, can't it? You start offloading the ball, you just don't know when to hold on to it. The offloads have been great, 18 offloads so far in this match for New Zealand, which is a lot. Just a temptation. One too many.
You talk about temptations. An option that we touched on the first half for Brian McLean and Jerome Ropati to 5'8". Nathan Fiend to resume the acting half. His form so far in this game's been outstanding, Jerome. He's played well.
Mannering started the game at lock forward, has since reverted to the wing. As we move into the final quarter of game 2 of the 2006 Gillette Tri-Nations. The Kiwis now on the halfway line. And they stack the short side with Vangana. 35 out from the goal line, 5 metres in from touch. Jones back to Azatazi. And the former St Paul's schoolboy rises now to play the football. The up and under. Jones. What a take, what a spectacular take it was. Carmichael Hunt under immense pressure.
Nearly as emphatic, Costo, as all those current and past students of Marcellin College. The credit going to St Paul's, yes, they know otherwise.
You're quite right. As we watch the replay here and talk about putting your body on the line, no fear whatsoever from the kid they call Special K, and that penalty too will hurt New Zealand, because all of a sudden, look at this, the Kangaroos back towards halfway.
Certainly setting itself up to a last quarter. Both these sides conceding errors, penalties, restricting both to be playing in the middle third.
Berrigan goes to Lockyer, back to Kite. Kite looking for more work. Barnstorming run. Kidwell comes again. He's not finished. 7-7 goes to the bench once more. A flick from the Australians. Thiaday's got it. He eats dugong for dinner. Now he's looking to trample a few Kiwis. Thurston, a kick in behind the line. Fairly well weighted. And excellent work at the back. Mannering somehow has cleaned it up in the field of play.
You talk about excellent. Try and find something that defines possibly a turning point as well. When you could very well find yourself looking to face a repeat set, they get an opportunity maybe just to tidy it up, play out, and get to the kick.
Matai. Flung to ground by Ryan. 15 out from their own goal line. Safety first football here from the Kiwis. Ropati goes to ground. Thiaday is in the thick of it. So too Berrigan. The two Broncos combining for the Aussies. Jones launches the kick. And a bouncing ball here for King it is, eventually. Not sure about the communication between him and Hunt. King brings it back.
And the thing with that kick from Stacey Jones, is not the longest kicker in the game. It had to bounce, and it did. It bounced twice, which will just soak up a little bit of time. It means attacking from some 30 metres out, now closer to the 50, as against attacking from the 50 on tackle 1.
And what about that carry style of Greg Inglis? How nonchalant is that? O'Donnell. That was a knock-on if there ever was one. The Kiwis have got it. 5 metres, short of halfway.
That's a battle. You get the ball on your goal line, you force a special play that sees you being able to stay on the field, you get to your kick, then you get something coming back and you continue to chip away at it. They play now from the halfway.
Half air. 15 minutes to go. Game 2. And just a reminder, if you are wondering, a draw is a draw in this competition. No need for golden point unless it's a final. So you just have to wonder, the man on screen is the one-pointer on the agenda. They are 12 metres out. Jones has got it. Farlongo keeps it going. Mannering goes to ground. No, he doesn't. Here's some second phase. A cutout ball to nobody. New Zealand need to go to ground here. Thaiday looking to finish the job. Jones barking instructions. They go the short side. Harper, nowhere to go. Lost the ball. Did it go back? No! Here's a double. Soliola. A double for Soliola. It looked as if it went for all money. The Kiwis, they're doing their best to sell it to the video referees. Don't go anywhere, folks. I'm not convinced. But they look pretty happy, New Zealand. They think they've got another try. They're third for the night.
Watching it live, Costa, I'm with you. I thought the ball travelled forward, but the angle in the video, they went down the blind side, and I didn't know whether Harpe knew it was the last tackle. He comes back. What happens there? That's gone backwards. That's fine. Play on.
They'll have a look at a couple of replays here for sure.
The fact that you've got the referee, the man Klein, in perfect position and allowing it to go to the man up top to the side. There's no doubt here that the ball comes out of Shantaine Harpe. It's knocked out. Knocked out by Thurston. There is a hint that perhaps Shantaine then gets his hand on the ball as well. But you would think that he's knocking it back towards his own goal line, not to his forward.
Well, I repeat what I said in the first half. 2 video referees here tonight, but one's an observer. He's the Kiwi, Ian McIntosh. Chris Ward, the Sydney sider, effectively has the call.
Well, we've got Pat, big blocker Roach beside us, and he's expecting not that.
They've given the try. Soliola with a double in just his second test match for the Kiwis. The New Zealand fans, they're on their feet at Telstra Dome. They sniff a victory, an upset victory, another one. They lead this 12 points to 8 with a kick to come, 14 minutes to go.
You're talking field goals. We were talking maybe a last play option. Over to Inglis's wing again. And it was Harpe who decided to take it on his own. Boys made the difference coming from England in this match. Caught them unawares really with the style of players, footwork in around the rucks. He's a big guy, able to get his arms free. And that man there, Soliola, having a whale of a game out wide, as is Matai, both centres for New Zealand, having terrific games in defence and attack.
And that young Ponsonby Jr. comes across, is given an opportunity. And those who understand talent, well, they didn't hesitate when it came to picking him up. No hesitation, no second thought. Sign him.
Disappointingly for Soliola, of course, he was unable to play in the series last year because of injury. Kangaroos forced to regroup. Jones, this conversion so important. He makes no mistake, the little general. Flags are raised. The buffer is one converted try thanks to Soliola's double. 13 to go. It's the Kiwis at 14-8.
And you talk about special plays. Well, Brian McLennan has just made one. Ruben Wiki back into the game for Simon Mannering. Take that as about the leader. As Lockyer finds kickoff again. Get the leader back on. You're in front. Now bring your kids home. Bring your charges home. Follow.
I've got to say, this crowd here tonight's been fantastic. You talk to the players after the match. As Manu Vatuvai comes up with a pretty ordinary play the ball. This crowd has been fantastic the last 20 minutes. They've had Kiwi chance and all. Manu Vatuvai catches the ball. Possibly places it on the leg of King before rolling it out. Whoa.
And just on that crowd, Darryl, look at that. close to 31,000. What has been a watershed year for rugby league in the Garden State of Victoria. State of origin coming to town to this venue, of course. A grand final, now the test match, as the Aussies look to regain the ascendancy or at least square it up. They trail by 6. There's a sense of urgency now.
Talk about trailing Bugger, followed him all the way across.
Tupu. He is devoured by Ruben Wiki, playing his 52nd test match. That, of course, a world record. Lockyer, a second receiver. Carmichael Hunt goes through and will score. It's the old Brisbane Bronco connection. They did it in Auckland. They've done it tonight in Melbourne. Carmichael Hunt comes up with the try. Thanks to Darren Lockyer. They'll check obstruction. But you'd have to think we'll have numbers in the frame here, and it's game on again in Melbourne.
Well, this time it's Thaiday. Did he impede the player? Not so much Matai, but the player on the inside. It's very hard to decipher what actually happens here in defence. You shouldn't be in front of the ball, person carrying the ball. He took Jones out. Stacey covering on the inside. Well, I'm biased, I know, but
DJ,
please.
The one thing that the rule is clear on is that no player should be expected to have to deal with someone running in front of him and removing him the opportunity of being able to get to the player with the ball in hand. Stacey Jones was clearly taken out of play.
And by a big unit. The video referees say no try, I repeat. The Kangaroos are denied. The video referees, they've earned their keep here tonight.
Have they what? And Australia have been doing this all the time. It's been a common play with a player around the back. Darren Lockyer's gone in to argue the toss with the referee. But well done.
But isn't it amazing that you see what you want to see when you want something to happen?
All I know is I want to see that red no try come up right below.
And I'm with you. But again, you've got the Brisbane connection. They took it when they went to the left-hand side, then they came back just as smoothly. They found the cohesion, and so close, so near.
Nazatazi.
Don't know if you can feel it sideline, boys, but this is a 50-50 crowd. The Kiwi chant goes up again as the Kiwis go hot on attack. We are up and down off our seats. This is a special.
Is it what? Backs to the wall stuff. Not that the Kiwis are strangers to that department.
And Simon Mannering showing the effects of an injury that he picked up last week with Mount Smart.
Stacey Jones set up for the field goal. Give him the ball.
Not this time. Vangana with the kick, and they turn it over. Big defence it is, but where was the one-pointer? Perfect field position. It's gone begging.
Stacey was parked out on the right. Jerome Rapati's pulled it to the left.
Well, that's what happens when you've got a makeshift number 9, perhaps. You don't like to point the finger, but let's be blunt. It's not exactly New Zealand's strong point. Hallertau missing this one because of injury, and after all, he was a makeshift number 9 in the first place. Here's Smith, speaking of 9s. Hasn't he spent some time on the bench here tonight? He's lost the ball there, and he's got away with it. No, he hasn't. A belated call, but the right call. And the Kiwis, they're punt. Azatazi all over him like a rash. And Smith losing the handle.
Touchy on this side as well, Kiwi Craig Pascoe. He copped a bit of flack last week.
Did he what?
A couple of odd calls. DJ.
He's on first name basis with him now, Ropo. But he's getting it right, and that's what counts.
Well, if
New Zealand now, is this a field goal play? 30 metres out with a scrum. What do you got set? Here's the game now.
Less than 10 minutes to go. Jones with the put in. Soliola. 2 tries here tonight. What a night he will not forget. Kidwell goes to ground. They'll come back this left side perhaps. Don't expect them to go to tackle 5 either. Wiki centralising play, 10 out.
Look for Webby in the middle.
They keep it going. Testing the Aussies, resolve on their own goal line. The Kangaroos under the pump, staring down the barrel. Jones with the one-pointer, he's got it. But Little J Kiwis, so long the hero for the Kiwis. He's nailed it, and New Zealand kick clear at 15-8, and surely will get their first win in the series here in Melbourne tonight.
A simple touch and some simple plays. Setting up for a field goal is not difficult, but it maintains some discipline. You need to just push the ball to the post. They took 4 tackles and then had the touch on the end of it. Stacey Jones, 2 touches tonight, one that instigated a try, and now the goal.
Shallow restart from the Kangaroos. Matt King goes up AFL style, and they've got it, the Aussies. They are far from gone, but they've got to score twice.
I think the key there is they're far from gone. They've shown if they get into the 20-metre, they can construct, and they can do it quickly.
Lockyer looking to slice through. He is put away by Kidwell. Thurston. Fire day. He is punished. Going nowhere. Wiki was there, so too Pulatua. Here's Thurston. Little dab behind the line. Webb's got it under control. That's a heads-up play from the fullback.
Gets a deflection as well. I think it was come off Roparty's legs. There's been Johnny on the spot many a time tonight, Brent Webb, and again comes up with the goods.
And a couple of more changes as well. Nathan Fiend back into the game. Jerome Roparty off. Kalis waiting to board.
Here's Wiki. Fiend back on the park, serving it up out of dummy half as Atazi charging upfield. The switch with the kick. Webb got rid of it. A mix-up at the back between the Aussies. Oh, Matt King, how close was he to the cliff face? So close. A puff of wind would have blown him over.
Well, so close that it keeps them in the game, because it could very well have had a different result. That could have been the over. That could have been the game. But they stay in. They have another chance, another opportunity. Hodges has got it.
I'm sure it was a Falcon as well.
They'll take it. The Aussies still in the contest. At least that's what they think. Inglis, they spread it out wide. Greg Inglis is away. Brent Webb's the only one who can stop it. See you later, Brent Webb. Greg Inglis will score. He'll bring it around. Don't go anywhere. A conversion coming up. We're going to have a one-point ball game. This will be a thrilling finish. Greg Inglis, he's all class, this kid. It's 15-12 with a sitter of a conversion coming up.
And I go back to the teammate, I go back to Matt King, and I go back to that ball that came so close to finding itself in touch, and we talked about that could be a play that keeps you in the game. Possession could have gone to the Kiwis. They kept it, they went wide, Hodges, and then what a pass, what a ball, Lockyer.
We have been praising Shantaine Harpe all evening for his work in attack. It has been fantastic. And one miss in defence, while it hasn't totally wrecked the evening, is certainly a little bit of a blight. Parked himself out on the wing, and the speed machine in Inglis. As Thurston adds the extras. 1 point in it, 5 to go.
Greg Inglis grabs a double. What a try it was. Lockyer saying we'll go wide. They get the reward. There's the miss. Not for the one of trying. Inglis will beat many fine players in the years to come.
When you need class most, it comes to the fore. He's got it in his left. Slight evasion there to get away from Harpe. Webb, he was gallant. Simon Mannering gave us one last week, just a miss. Special try, special play. But don't write him off. 8 minutes. It's a long time.
4.
Make that 4 for sure. 76 gone. Fire day. He's got one thing on his mind. It's to make inroads.
Well, he had meters on his mind, and he just got the easiest ticket up the field that one could want. Play smart, says Kidwell. Get smart.
Well, that's just reckless play from New Zealand. In the box seat here.
That's not reckless, that's dumb. At this time of the game, that's dumb.
We move to a situation where New Zealand can lose this, they can blow it. The Kangaroos with Thurston, so many playmakers, so many options. Cameron Smith scheming out of dummy half.
Well, they've got the ability to go and look for a 4-pointer first as well. 3 up their sleeve.
Lockyer. Here's Carmichael Hunt. Got it away. Gasnier will score the match winner. Mark Gasnier. He was bashed, battered and bruised in the first half. He comes up with the try to seal it for the Aussies. They've gone bang, bang. You're dead, New Zealand. Just when the Kiwis thought they had the W, the victory, the elusive victory, they have blown it in Melbourne. Gut-wrenching stuff for New Zealand. Dear, oh dear, you wouldn't read about it.
Well, empty already is how you're feeling. Hold your toys, don't throw them at the TV. That's a fine try from Carmichael Hunt. He has brought the play around the back. They've done it all night, and finally we've cracked on the left-hand edge. Hunt did the damage, Gasnier the try scorer. Right there, attracted 3 players. Gasnier, he's difficult with Webb, big guy.
There was a mistake at the other end of the football field. Thaiday brought it up. All they were looking for was meters to give them an opportunity to have a crack at the 1. But they had 3 up their sleeve when Lockyer and Carmichael Hunt had other ideas. They knew they had enough. They had enough plays to be able to go out and see if they can find a 4-pointer. If it failed, then there was still a crack, an opportunity to go for the 1. Gasnier.
What a player, what a name in rugby league. Uncle Reg would be proud. One of the Rugby League Week immortals, of course, Reg Gasnier, and his nephew tonight delivering the killer blow for the Kiwis. Ouch, that hurts.
Well, the word that comes to thought is class. Inglis comes, Hunt comes, and then along comes Gasnier.
They were down by 7 with something like 6 to go. An amazing transformation we have witnessed. Thurston adds the extras. Gasnier's happy, why not? It's the Kangaroos by 5 with 90 seconds to go or thereabouts. Shallow restart. Kangaroos have got it. That'll do, Ricky Stewart, you would think, Darryl.
Slow play the balls and scoots from dummy half and see the game wind down. You'd imagine they'll find touch. Oh, I feel like I've had the wind just sucked out of me, Costo, in that period.
Well, it wasn't a wind, it was more like a cyclone. Cyclone Kangaroo. We said they had to score twice. What odds? What odds wouldn't we have given them? And the Kangaroos poised to make it 2 from 2. Andrew Ryan's away almost. Chopped down by Kidwell. It's the last. They'll kick over the top, maybe for touch. Vartuvai with the catch. Good catch it was, stretching out. He's got to release the footy. They'll be flat out having one play here. The final play of the game. In fact, he took it on the full, I beg your pardon. So it is over. It's good night, nurse, as they say in the classics. He caught it on the full, Indian goal. And the fans have just realised that. This kick, this dropout, purely academic. Sevenasiva has the Steeden.
Easy.
And the Bronco hardman goes to ground. And it's the one that got away. They will remember this for many, many years to come, make no mistake. We had the Kangaroos on the hop, New Zealand, but they've got away with it. They've won it by 5, 20 points to 15 in an absolute thriller at the Telstra Dome in Melbourne.
The Kiwis, they give it everything. And the last 2 or 3 minutes, or should I say 4 minutes of the match, Australia just piled onto it. And simple errors which weren't there in the first 75 have cost them the match. Fine efforts, great efforts. No one's critical, but everyone's empty.
I was going to make the point when Jones delivered the field goal, it brought back fond memories of that one-pointer at Ericsson in 2001 against the Broncos. The first time the Warriors had ever beaten the Broncos. But it wasn't to be. Let's go downstairs, and Peter is with one of the Kiwis in Shantaine Harper.
Shantaine, we can only wonder what you're feeling right now, bud.
Oh, I'm feeling really bad, man. It's disappointed. Like, you know, we had it there and just let it slip away.
Mate, when you saw Thaiday and you got the penalty down the other end, everyone was talking about just playing smart. A couple of minutes on the clock.
Yeah. Oh, it's disappointing, man. I'm just
Well, you can't blame him. Harper virtually lost for words, Darryl. You just got to wonder what's being said here in the huddle for the Kiwis.
Well, here your senior group and your senior core comes to the fore. They've gone straight into a huddle to sort out this match and the direction from here. The people that'll be talking there be Wiki, Kalis, Jones, Nigel Vagana, telling the boys and the lads how to go about the next couple of hours, which will be pretty difficult.
Talk about a get-out-of-jail card for the Aussies. Let's go downstairs, and Stephen is standing by with the Kangaroo captain.
Great job. How do you feel about that one?
Yeah, look, good effort. 10 minutes to go, you could have packed your bags, but the boys hung in there, and fantastic effort in the end.
Tight first half. What was said by Ricky at the split?
Well, I mean, our defence was great, but our attack, we just dropping too much ball, and in the end that was killing us. And towards the end of the second half, there we just held on the footy and made a difference.
You've got some class there. Must make you as a captain feel very proud.
Mate, there's some talented players out there, but we need to play better. And credit to the Kiwis, mate. They played a good game tonight. But our boys, we could be better.
Right, nice job, Darren.
Thanks, mate.
All right, let's go down to the boy from the bush, from Mount Isa in northwestern Queensland, on debut for the Kiwis tonight. Nathan Keen's with Peter.
Nathan, you always want to remember your debut, but I guess the way this one finished, you won't forget it.
Mate, yeah, definitely. We it was a special moment running out there with the black jersey today. Very proud to pull it on and actually get out there and play with the boys. There's been a lot of media over here, but I'm Kiwi through and through. And mate, yeah, it's just disappointing. We had them in, we had them there, and with 5 minutes to go, we just let our guard down a bit. But we improved from last week. But it goes to show we've still got a bit more work to do.
Mate, huge improvement from last week defensively. You were in control of the game. Your line speed, your goal line defence, outstanding.
Yeah, we worked hard on it all week. Bluey really wanted us to focus on that throughout the week, and we did that, and then we put it into practice throughout most of the game. Just very disappointed, mate. We got the Pommies next week. Looking forward to getting back to New Zealand and giving them a run for their money.
Mate, 5 minutes on the clock. You scored the try. Was it in the bag?
When States put that field goal over, I thought we were home, mate. But that's footy, eh? So you got to play for the full 80 minutes, and we played really well tonight. But as I said before, we've got a lot of work. Still improvement in us. So we'll just work hard, knuckle down, and come out next week.
Wish you all the best for great.
Cheers, Raper. Thanks, God.
All right, those Kiwis, they've got every reason to be shattered, but one man who's been kind enough to spare some of his time, given the obvious circumstances. 2 tries tonight, and Soliola's with Stephen.
Game 2, 2 tries. How does that feel, barring the loss, Yosia?
Yeah, that was... Losing a game like that is pretty gut-wrenching, but I'm pretty happy with the 2 tries. I blew one early on in the game, and that could have won the game, but that's how it goes sometimes.
Heck of an improvement in this side, though, and that was the key all week, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. We shook the cobwebs out last week, and we definitely improved from last week. And that's the main thing. That's the best thing about this competition. You can always improve in upcoming weeks.
All right, regroup for Christ.
Pardon?
Regroup for Christchurch.
Yeah, that's the one.
2 tries for the Sydney Roosters, centre 3/4. And speaking of doubles, Inglis, well, he was all class tonight. No doubt about that. He's with Peter.
Mate, as long as there's minutes on the clock, you're in with a shot, aren't you?
Yeah, both teams had to play down to the wire. It's just unlucky that we just got on top in the end. And full credit to the Kiwis, they put up a hell of a fight for the whole series. 78 minutes, and we just came back in the end.
Mate, how special, though, to be involved in a big play, to be able to go the distance and perhaps get the try that gets you across the line, gets you the big one.
It's not only that, it's pretty special individually, but it's not only that, it's your teammates that are also working for you. And that's what makes this bunch of guys so unique, you know. They work for one another, and that's why they got selected.
Half-time, the call was about just get a little bit more direct, play tougher.
Yeah, Ricky Shield just said, just go there, play tougher, and just got to dig away. And he said we'll win in the last couple of minutes, and sure enough, we did.
Mate, I know you probably don't enjoy the Broncos that well, particularly what they did at the back end of this season, but Lockie and co, when you need them, they shine.
Yeah, they always shine. Especially Lockie. Like halfway through the year, they was in the slump and they came back through.
Yeah, wish you all the best, buddy.
No problem.
All right, last but not least, the New Zealand captain, Test match number 52 for Ruben Wiki. The man they call Jake the Muss is now with Stephen.
Got away from you. What's the first word that came to your mind?
What's that?
It got away from you. What came to mind?
Bugger.
Mate, there was you yourself were quoted as saying improvement was the key. Huge improvement, but at the death, just outclassed.
Yes, Lockyer down the blind. He's been dangerous the whole game and kind of went to sleep for a split second, and he put the old winger down the sideline.
Rubes, the pressure's on now. You're 0-2. You got the Palms next week in Christchurch. You got to get a win.
Yeah, for sure. We'll go back and address the game and work on what we have to improve on. We've stepped it up a bit from last week, and we're only going to get better. And we're never going to give up, and the boys are still tight, even though we lost again. But the spirit in the camp is unbelievable.
You want to say hello to anyone, mate?
Yes, hello to my wife and the kids. I got the Kiwi. Thank you very much. I love yous, and I'm going to go drink some kava now.
Go get him in Christchurch.
All right, bro.
Yes, as they say in the classics, it's back on next week. Australia, a double to Inglis. Gasnier a try, Thurston perfect, 4 from 4. The Kiwis, Soliola a double, Harper back from Bradford, a try to him. Jones 1 from 3, Jones with the field goal as well. The Aussies, they were shot ducks with 6 to go, but in the end they prevailed 20 points to 15. A heartbreaking loss for New Zealand, a gut-wrenching loss at that. Stick with us, more from the Telstra Dome in Melbourne right after the break.